The next thing our Chapter 2.1 worksheet needs is a formula that is going to drive the percent change column, which starts in F3. To make things easier to see, I'm going to reduce the zoom of my Excel worksheet by clicking the zoom out in the bottom right corner. There we go. I've reduced the zoom to 110%. Now I can see my whole worksheet and begin following the lab instructions in Chapter 2.1 of our textbook. Now, formulas, what they do is they follow order of mathematical operations. If we want to bypass that, we need to use parentheses, which we're going to see here. So in the instructions, it first says click cell F3 in the budget detail worksheet. So I'll click cell F3, type an equal sign, because we always need an equal sign before entering a formula into a cell. Type an open parenthesis. So seeing the parenthesis, this means we're going to change the order of operations so that the stuff in the parentheses gets done first. Now I'll read this and then scroll down to the next instructions. Click cell D3. This will add a cell reference to cell D3 to the formula. When building formulas, you can click cell locations instead of typing it. So in the previous column, the monthly spend column, we had typed D3. Now what we're going to do is click D3 instead. It does the same thing as typing D3. It puts a cell reference to D3 in the formula. Then I'm going to type a minus sign and then click cell E3. So here's E3. And then it says type a closing parenthesis, which is the one on the right, and then a slash, and then E3 again. What this is going to give, what this equation directly gives me is the decimal version of the percent change between the current annual spending and last year's annual spending. So if we divide the difference between the two by the original last year's spending, that gives us the percentage of how much the current has changed from last year's. So I'll press enter and I'll see that a percentage shows 0%. Now in our formula, I'm going to left click, or I'm going to double left click in F3 again to show you. In our formula, in order to get a percentage, we would usually have to type at the end of this times 100. But we don't have to do that here because this cell right here is in the percentage number format. If I change it to the comma style, which is not accounting, let me change this to general, you'll see just a 0. But because it's in the percentage format, it shows it as a percentage. The next thing I'm going to do is to do what I did with the monthly spending column. I'm going to copy this formula all the way down to F11. And again, I went to the lower right corner to get the autofill handle, and I'm left clicking and dragging down to F11. There we go. And here are my percentages. And again, I want to emphasize that we're seeing percentages here because it's in the percentage number format. If I change it back to general, you'll see them in the original decimal format. For example, our formula dictates the resultant of F5 to be 0.25, but changing it to a percentage, we now have 25%. So let me change the number format back. And note that you don't have to do this, what I'm doing. All I want you to get is this column filled out using formulas and autofill.